Good morning. It's Thursday, March 20th, the first day of spring. Here's what we're working on this morning. A serious crash in St. Catharines has closed an intersection near the 406.
Investigators are about to release a preliminary report regarding last month's Delta plane crash at Pearson.
And the Leafs make a lucky bounce count in their win against Colorado. Thank you for making us a part of your Thursday morning, March 20th. Louis Bucko and Annette Hom, Brian Wood here with you. Good morning.
Good morning, and a part of your spring so far. And I really missed the boat on, I had my headphones on at 5:01.
Okay, so 5:01 a.m., I made an announcement to the newsroom.
In the newsroom.
And I said, guys, it's spring, let's celebrate. You didn't react. 2 minutes later, Brian Wood walks in, says, happy spring. Everybody cheered. I don't know what happened.
It was kind of crickets for you.
It needed the weatherman to be able to say it, the weather person to actually make it official.
I just happened to have taken my headphones off.
It's only because I got on the podium that the assignment area has and did the megaphone. Hey everybody, happy spring! There we are.
No better way to start the day though, Brian. Yesterday felt almost summerish though.
Very.
We got to 20 degrees yesterday. We were so close to breaking a record, but not quite. About 21 was the record for yesterday, but what a glorious day with that sunshine and mild temperatures. We're going to be in for a change. Yeah, today's the change day. It's still mild. Temperature is 13 degrees to start the morning here, but the temperature is going to sink as the day goes on. A cold front is going to go through. The winds are going to kick around to the west, pull in some chillier air, so the temperature will fall to about 8 by later on this afternoon, which is still above seasonal, but what a difference from yesterday. So 13, mostly cloudy. We will get some showers on and off throughout the day. Tomorrow it's back to sunshine. Talk about it coming up. Let's have a look at traffic. 403 and Waterdown Road looks pretty good at the moment. Not a lot to see right there. We'll check some other cameras. We'll look at some MTO traffic cameras here. Centennial Parkway, as you can see, Toronto-bound lanes toward the Skyway away from us. Top of the Skyway moving nicely. Nothing to see here at Brodie. Generally, we're pretty good on the major routes so far this morning. We'll look at weather and traffic coming up in just a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Thank you, Brian. Niagara police are investigating a serious crash in St. Catharines that has closed an intersection before Highway 406. Simone Gavros joins us live from the scene with the details. Simone.
Louis, right now details are very limited, but we do know that there were at least 2 vehicles involved in a crash at the corner of Welland Avenue and Ontario Street here in St. Catharines. Now, right now, police are towing away the vehicles, but from what we could see earlier, it looked as though the front bumper from one of the cars was just scattered across the intersection, while the silver vehicle is just up on the curb. Now, police say the call came in just before 10:30 p.m. last night. There was a heavy police presence in the area following the crash, and these road closures remain in place. Forensics, detectives, and the K9 unit were all on scene for the ongoing investigation. There's still a lot of questions about what happened here, including what caused the crash, the severity of injuries, and if any charges have been laid. I did reach out to police this morning for more information, but was told to wait for the media team to get in at 7 a.m., so we are waiting for those details. In the meantime, the intersection at Welland Avenue and Ontario Street is closed for the investigation, and both the northbound and southbound ramp on Highway 406 at 4th Avenue is also closed. There's been no reopening time given just yet. So this is a developing story. We are waiting to hear more details from police. They are towing away the vehicles at the scene right now at Welland Avenue and Ontario Street, so we're hoping to get more information from police. But again, this is still an ongoing investigation, and it all happened last night around 10:30. For now, Annette, back over to you.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, the Transportation Safety Board of Canada is set to release a preliminary report today on the crash landing at Pearson International Airport last month. A Delta Airlines flight from Minneapolis crashed on February 17th, sending 21 people to hospital and causing days of travel disruptions. The plane burst into flames as it flipped over and skidded on the tarmac. However, all 76 passengers and 4 crew survived. Now, today's report is expected to outline what investigators have found so far.
Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly says 4 Canadians were executed in China in recent months.
So we strongly condemn the execution that did happen against Canadians in China. This is an issue that I've been following very, very closely personally for months.
Joly said the Canadians were all dual citizens and faced charges linked to criminal activities and drugs. In a statement, the Chinese embassy in Ottawa said authorities handled the cases in strict accordance with the law and fully guaranteed the rights and interests of the Canadian nationals concerned.
Meantime, Joly says Canada is in the advanced stages of negotiations with Europe to join its new defense partnership. The Foreign Affairs Minister says security talks with Europe started within 3 weeks of U.S. President Donald Trump ramping up his suggestions about Canada becoming part of the States. Europe announced in early March its plan to boost defense capabilities to counter the risk of further aggression by Russia, and also because of Donald Trump's friendly relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin. On Russia, Ukraine and Russia have agreed in principle to a limited ceasefire after U.S. President Trump spoke with the country's leaders this week, though it remains to be seen when it might take effect. The tentative deal to partially rein in the grinding war came after Russian President Vladimir Putin rebuffed Trump's push for a full 30-day ceasefire. The White House says a roughly hour-long call between Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky went well, revealing technical talks will happen in Saudi Arabia this weekend. Zelensky said the discussions would resolve what types of infrastructure would be protected under a partial ceasefire plan. Israeli strikes overnight have killed at least 70 Palestinians across Gaza. They hit multiple homes and they killed men, women, and children as they slept. Now, Israel resumed heavy strikes across Gaza on Tuesday. That shattered a ceasefire that had halted the war and allowed for the release of more than 24 hostages. Israel blamed the renewed fighting on Hamas because the militant group had rejected a new ceasefire proposal. More than 400 Palestinians were killed on Tuesday alone, most of them women and children. A 34-year-old man has been arrested after a sexual assault on a bus in Burlington. Halton police have released his photo only because they believe there may be more victims. Brian Pilon is charged with sexual assault and failing to comply with probation. The assault happened Monday morning at 6:30. Police say a woman was assaulted getting on a bus on Fairview Street near Walker's Line by a man who was leaving the bus. He ran off and was arrested a short time later. Well, the city of St. Catharines, on this first day of spring, is already planning for beach season. If you live in St. Catharines, you can now apply for a $15 parking permit that will last you all summer. Parking rates are in effect from May 1st to September 30th at Sunset Beach and Lakeside Park Beach. Non-residents will pay $3 an hour to park there, or a daily rate of $20 at Sunset Beach. Gonna have to get on that. Let's start on the ice as we take a look at sports, where the Leafs were hosting the Avalanche last night. And although St. Patrick's Day was a few days ago, the Leafs had a little luck on their side in this one.
Into the second minute, and Benoit will get a clear. And Kelly Suther with diving to get out of the way, and he sets up a red.
In one of the strangest plays of the season, Simone Benoit's clearing attempt hits a falling referee. He was trying to avoid the puck before coming right to Steven Lorentz, who puts home his 6th of the season. That would end up as the game winner. Joseph Woll would make 38 stops in net. Leafs take this one 2-1 the final, move into a tie for first in the Atlantic Division. Now, the referee is Kelly Sutherland. He's no rookie. He's refereed more than 1,500 games across his 20-year career, but that one definitely a career lowlight for him.
Now Shelbin back down to Watts. Watts with the first goal. She puts it towards them, and they score!
Elsewhere in Toronto last night, Darryl Watts scored twice to snap a 5-game goalless drought as the Toronto Scepters beat the New York Sirens 2-1. The Star Scepters forward is tied for third in the PWHL scoring race. She has 23 points in 24 games this season. Toronto back in action Sunday when they take on the league-leading Victoire in Montreal. Well, it's officially spring and soccer season is right around the corner. And last night, Hamilton's Forge FC unveiled the new jerseys they'll be wearing when they hit the field in a few weeks. Now, fans packed it in at Shoeless Joe's on Upper James Street last night as the 4-time CPL champions showed off their new uniforms. The biggest change, WeatherTech taking over as the new front of jersey sponsor. The jerseys also feature subtle nods to Hamilton, with the primary orange kit featuring a symmetrical pattern woven with the words, "Together we aspire, together we achieve, together we forge," a tribute to the Hamilton coat of arms, while the alternate kit that the team calls Waterfall White is adorned with a pattern of gray hammers, a nod to the city and club's nickname. I was there last night, caught up with Forge FC captain Kyle Becker to talk about the support from the fans.
It's special. Obviously, coming into 2019, looking back, I didn't really know what I was going to get, and they've embraced me with open arms since day one. They come out week after week. They make noise, whether it's freezing cold or playing on an ice rink at what was Tim Hortons Field. Now it's Hamilton Stadium. Whether it's a sunny day in the middle of the summer, it's unreal.
Forge opens their season Saturday, April 5th, when they welcome defending champion and arch rival Cavalry FC to the stadium, formerly known as Tim Hortons Field.
All you watching this, all you to the forefoot against Switzerland to hand them their first loss of the event. Canada wins it, make the final 7-6.
Canada's Rachel Holman handed Switzerland its first loss of the round robin with a 7-6 extra end victory at the Women's World Championship in South Korea. Holman's Ottawa-based rink improved to 7-2 to tie Sweden and South Korea for second. Switzerland leads the standings at 8-1. The top 6 teams in the 13-team field advance to this weekend's playoffs.
Okay, 6:12. It is now the 19th morning of March, and we are now fully into spring here. So, yay, let's get going. So let's check the traffic watch here. We are looking at the 403 around Waterdown Road, which is our camera, and we have no problems right there. Let's go into St. Catharines, and of course, we've been mentioning this morning, the big problem this morning is in St. Catharines, Welland and Ontario Street. We've got a serious collision there. I'm showing the QEW and Highway 405, but if I flip to the 406, we've got the north and southbound 406 ramps to 4th Avenue closed there as well. So that's a bit of a problem as far as the 406 is concerned. Otherwise, QEW is fine. Centennial Parkway through to Fairview Street. We'll check the Ford plant, and as well we'll check Cawthron a little further on. A little raindrop activity on the camera there, so there are some showers in the area, and we will get some as the day goes on. Our temperature has fallen. We were 13 degrees last hour. We are now sitting at 11 degrees, and that wind is picked up. Southwest 34 to 45 at the moment. Skies are fairly cloudy right now, and they will be cloudy for the day today. We'll get some showers. The winds are going to pick up to about 60 kilometers an hour, and that'll be coming and pulling in some chillier air, so the temperature will fall to 8 degrees by later on today. Here's our satellite radar picture. You can see the showers that are in the area that are moving towards us and have gone by us. What we have is a low pressure system dragging that cold front, and that's what's going to drop the temperatures as the day progresses today, as we get a more westerly to northwesterly flow. And then by Saturday, we are looking at some more showers in the forecast. But for today, here's where the temperatures are going. 4 for Niagara, 8 to 6 this end of the lake. But temperatures will stay fairly mild. Halton, Peel, Toronto, they'll drop later on this evening. Bit of sun is possible, but showers. Tonight, minus column. -2 and 3 Niagara, -5 and 6 this end of the lake. Wind chills of -8. So winter's trying to hang on. We don't want it to, but it is. And then then tomorrow we're looking at 6, 7, and 8 degrees. Lovely sunshine for the day tomorrow, even 9 in some areas. So it will get better tomorrow. So out the door, starting 20th morning of March, it's cloudy. It is mild. Temperature 11 at the moment. Long range coming up. Annette, Louis.
Okay. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Coming up after the break, we'll say good morning to Emily Vukovic with a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. And in business news, Hudson's Bay still waiting to see if it will be granted approval to liquidate all of its stores. All right, 6:16 on your Thursday. Let's say good morning to Emily Vukovic.
Happy
good morning,
spring.
Emily. Happy spring.
Hi, yay, it's spring. I was going to wear all black today, and I was like, oh, no. They'll get upset.
I managed to dig this out of the closet today, so I feel like it was a good spring.
Yeah, very good spring colors.
What do you got coming up in Chit Chat?
Well, Riverfest Allura has revealed this year's music festival lineup, and it looks pretty good. We got some big wigs there this year.
Yeah, a couple familiar faces, too.
Yeah. And a new trailer for Ballerina puts Ana de Armas and Keanu Reeves on a violent collision course.
Okay.
I can't watch those movies. They're just too much for me. And later on this morning, the trailer for the final season of The Handmaid's Tale is out, and it looks so good.
Okay. All right. And you were also at Theater Aquarius, too, right? Yesterday?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't at Theater Aquarius, but I had a really good time.
Okay.
You guys stay tuned for the
looking forward
segments.
to seeing that and seeing you on the couch in just a little bit. All right, checking business news. The Canadian dollar is down 13 basis points to 69.78 cents U.S. Gold is up $7.20 an ounce, and crude is 52 cents higher to $67.68 a barrel. In midday European trading, markets are up in London but down in Frankfurt and Paris.
In Asia, the markets were down across the board today. Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai, with huge drops in Hong Kong. North American markets, strengths in energy and tech helped Bay Street gain over 360 points. On Wall Street, the Dow added 383, and the Nasdaq gained almost 250 points.
Hudson's Bay will return to court tomorrow after an Ontario judge deferred his decision on the retailer's proposal to liquidate all of its stores. Canada's oldest retailer requested an extension of creditor protection until Friday to continue negotiations with landlords, lenders, suppliers, and employee groups. The company says it will need substantial financing soon to avoid closing all of its 80 stores. Hudson's Bay filed for creditor protection on March 7th.
The U.S. Central Bank has cut its growth forecast and warns that Donald Trump's tariffs are clearly driving up prices.
Some near-term measures of inflation expectations have recently moved up. We see this in both market and survey-based measures, and survey respondents, both consumers and businesses, are mentioning tariffs as a driving factor.
The central bank is keeping its key borrowing rate unchanged in the 4.25 to 4.5% range. Now, the Bank of Canada's current rate is at 2.75%.
A new survey has found roughly half of domestic manufacturers suggest they can weather a trade war with the U.S., provided the tariff battle doesn't go on for too long. The poll by KPMG in Canada says 54% of manufacturers believe they will be able to withstand a tariff war with the U.S. that lasts more than 1 year. The report says 86% of Canadian manufacturing leaders says it's time for Canada to start relying less on the U.S. The report was based on a survey of 602 Canadian business leaders in February.
China is set to launch a trade war with Canada today that's going to hit canola farmers just as planting season starts. China is enacting a 100% tariff on Canadian canola oil and canola meal, plus a 25% tariff on our seafood and pork exports. This is in retaliation for Canada's tariffs on Chinese-made electric vehicles, aluminum, and steel products. Alberta Canola says the current situation has left many farmers without bids from sellers, and they say canola prices have already plummeted since China first announced these tariffs.
All right, 6:20, almost 6:21 on the button. 6:21 on the button. There we go. All right, taking a break now. Had to wait there. Brian, who loves the button, will be back with traffic and your 7-day forecast. Don't go anywhere.
Shiny button.
All right, good morning, 624. Let's check what's happening on the roads. Good news about the problem that we had in St. Catharines. Ontario and Welland intersection has opened up, and they've opened up the ramps, the 406 as well. So here's the QEW at 406. There's nothing happening there. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge looks good still so far on most of the major routes. Here's Brodie Road, Lorne Park, all the way through Mississauga. Even the 403 at Burnham Thorpe looks good. Okay, so today, Thursday the 20th of March. Look at these temperatures to start the morning here. Wow. Well, the cool spot is Toronto. They're still getting that wind off the lake, and that's keeping them cool. 9 degrees right now. 11 Hamilton, 14 Mississauga, 18 still into Grimsby today. But don't be fooled. They're not going to. Those temperatures aren't going to stay that way. Seasonal temperatures this time of year: 5 for the daytime high, -4 overnight low. Those are our sun times and records for today. And for school today, showers. Be prepared for that. But temperatures by the first bell. Well, we've already fallen to 11 degrees, so that could change. But forecasting 12 for the first bell this morning and 8 for after school. A little bit of sun is possible, but definitely showers for the day. And that's how it goes. We'll fall to 8 during the day. The winds will get strong to about 60 kilometers an hour, and there's the showers. -5 tonight, wind chill of -8. It's going to be a completely different start to the day tomorrow, but at least we'll get back to sunshine. Temperature is 7. That's still above seasonal. 5 and showers Saturday, only 2 on Sunday with sun. And at least we build for Monday at 5, but then it's cool for Tuesday and Wednesday, 2 and 4 with some sun. That's your forecast. Annette, Louis.
All right, thank you, Brian. A Canadian Pacific steam train built by women during the Second World War is back on track in England.
How beautiful is that? Named after the Canadian Pacific shipping line that crossed the Atlantic during the war to deliver military and civilian supplies to Britain. Many of these trains were destroyed or damaged by the Nazis. This train was built in 1941 in Britain, and it took volunteers more than 14 years to restore it.
It's just amazing. It's the culmination of a lot of hard work by a lot of people, and seeing it, as you'll see it in a minute, it is just brilliant. It's just a great feeling.
There's a huge amount of messaging for the next generation around Canadian Pacific. It not only helps us to tell the story of that merchant navy shipping that was celebrated or commemorated with this enormous sacrifice during the war, which just demonstrated the extent to which everyone has to pull together in tough times.
Now, after the Second World War, this train served regular passenger routes to and from the coast of southern England. It was retired in 2008, and now it's being revived for tourist trips. That's very cool.
Yeah, that's pretty
And train
awesome.
traffic's so important in England.
For sure. And just like that little touch of the Commonwealth too, right?
Yeah,
with it
like
being
that.
Canadian Pacific. And of course on International Women's Month, nice to see something, of course, built by women during the war, which a lot of things were.
A lot of things were.
All right, stay with us. We have more to come after the break.